Hi guys, and welcome to episode 2 of the Fog Vlog, and let's quickly run through what I've been vaping for the last 2 weeks. Okay guys, let's start talking about the Lynx RDA. I originally bought this device because I was looking for something that will pair up nicely with my Noisy Cricket V2. Matchy as you can see, but I was also looking for something that was 25 millimeters that would sit completely flush with the Noisy Cricket, but also something that wasn't too archaic, that provided me with other build options. And the other things that interested me of this RDA was the clamping system, which is spring loaded, and of course the Kennedy style bottom airflow. Now of course, how does that all work together, and what was my experience with this vape? Okay guys, I have to be honest, when I had originally gotten this RDA, the top cap, when I fitted everything together, was slightly loose. I mean, I wasn't willing to endure this problem, so I was looking for a solution. And it's actually quite easy to solve. So if you remove the top cap, what you'll find is that there is a O-ring right at the top of it, as you can see. So what I had done was I removed the smaller O-ring, and in the same package, what I done is I just put a more beefier O-ring back on. When you then go and you screw the Lynx RDA back on, you will find that it's a lot tighter, and you almost have no wiggle around at the top, which completely changes this device according to me. Now I don't know if that is all fluke and if it's supposed to be like that, but I do know that it works. That was literally the only problem I had with this device. Okay guys, let's quickly talk about some of the pros of this device. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a couple of pictures on the screen and run you through them. So these are some of the features as well as some of the pros. Okay, so what we have over here, and the first pro I'd like to just talk about is the airflow. As you spin the top cap, you reveal a side airflow. So you don't only have your bottom airflow running through the bottom here and Kennedy style up to your coil, you also have, when you unscrew the top cap a little bit more, you've got a side airflow as well. Now that's an extremely airy vape if you do that. I don't prefer it. I prefer the Kennedy style airflow from the bottom, so I close it down, but it's so easy to do that, and the tolerances is just fantastic, you know, after I've changed that O-ring. So I'm not sure why many other RDA producers or companies or suppliers haven't used this idea more, because this to me is fantastic. What it also does is you can close that completely off, and then you don't have your RDA leaking from the side if it had to tip over. Okay, so let's quickly jump to the next picture over here. Alright, so here I've just got a picture for you so that you can see what that Kennedy style airflow looks like. It's not two air holes coming from the bottom, it's just one, so it gives you like a nice restricted lung hit if the air is closed down. If it's opened up completely, it's almost the perfect lung hit for me. I wouldn't want anything more than that. I think that's perfect. Now there's two ways you can build on this. You can either have your coil leads over each other from the one side and the other like this, with your coil directly over the airflow, or you can have it, you know, offset like that. Now I've built both ways, and I don't find an extreme advantage from the one over the other. The only advantage I really find when you build your coil hanging with the leads over each other like this is that you don't get your RDA that hot. You can literally chain vape it and your RDA doesn't heat up at all. Okay, let's quickly go to the final picture over here I want to show you. Now this is extremely cool, because what you have in the top cap, and many people will say that this actually kills flavor, but I can promise you right now, the flavor on this RDA is on point if you build right, and that's not really difficult. if you build right, the flavor is on point. What you have over here is you have the airflow at the top almost protruding through here. So if your RDA had to tip on the side like this, the juice will literally just run through the side and collect over here. And if you've got your RDA closed off completely, your RDA won't leak, and that is almost unspoken of or unheard of in the RDA life or RDA world. Okay, so I've had a fantastic experience with this RDA. I would thoroughly recommend this for anybody that is looking for a 25mm RDA, or looking for RDA with great flavor, or looking for RDA that would fit nicely with their Cricut V2. Okay, so let's jump on to the next device. Okay guys, so there's one thing I had forgotten about that needs to be mentioned on the Lynx RDA, and that is the airflow. I'm just quickly going to go to the microphone and show you what that sounds like, and I'm sure if you have problem with squeaky or whistly airflow, this is really going to be the selling point for you. So listen up. There you go. So the airflow is perfect, the clamping system is brilliant to build on, it's got that Kennedy style airflow, it also has side airflow, not that I'm going to use that, but it also has an anti-leaking system in its totality. So those are all really good pros for me, and I'm really happy that I got this device, and it's staying on the noisy Cricut V2. Those two will be paired up for a lifetime. Okay, thanks. So let's finally move on now to the next device. Okay guys, the next device I would like to talk about is the Merlin RDTA. So remember, as per the last episode, you know that I was on the search for a RDTA that had that filling port system in the middle, and because I didn't feel that the Apocalypse RDTA, that filling port system was fully justified yet. I felt that it probably was a step in the right direction, but not quite there yet. So when I saw the Merlin RDTA reaching our shores, I immediately wanted one. I saw a review online which a reviewer said that due to the way this is designed, he gets juice into his mouth from that filling port system. So he was saying that from the plug at the top, juice collects on top of the plug, alright, and then as he has a draw, juice then spits into his mouth. And I would like to honestly say, I vape juices anywhere from 70 to about 80 or 85 VG, and I haven't experienced the same problem. From the moment that I built this device, it was an absolute workhorse, and it's a beautiful one, if I may. What I'm going to do is just talk about a couple of specs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of pictures on the screen, and let's just quickly run through this. Oh yeah, let's quickly have that vape before we do that. This is insane. I mean, this eats juice. If you look at the juice ports on this device, I think it might terrify you. It terrified me. But the flavor you experience from this device, it's absolutely incredible. Every time I'm using this device, I'm happy. And it's definitely something that's going to be in my rotation for a while. Just one more vape, and then we'll talk about the specs. Okay, so let's quickly throw up them pictures. Okay, so what we have over here is we've got that build deck of the Merlin RDTA. Now, I mean, that's absolutely beautiful. What you will see is it's got bottom airflow. So yes, it comes in from the side, but it then hits the coil at the bottom here. So your coil is built over here, right? And then the airflow hits it at the bottom. Your coils then hang into those juice ports. But what you will see is they're not individual juice ports. They're almost like the kidney holes that you would have, you know, at the top of a tank where you would dunk your juice into from the top. So your wicks have to literally cover that entire kidney hole over there, otherwise this device will leak. I mean, I'm building 3.5 millimeter coil diameters, and I'm fluffing my cotton out slightly, and you know, I'm managing to fill that up. I've left it on the side and this device hasn't leaked on me yet. I'll quickly show you how big the coils is that I'm able to fit in here without a problem. You know what I mean? That's insane. You know, for RDTA, you would only imagine, oh yeah, that's the juice filling system, but we'll get to that later. Just want to show you what that looks like. We'll get to that later. So let's quickly go back to the picture over here. So yeah, your juice, that's your juice port system. That's where your juice goes. I think that's about a 4 or 4.5 millimeter tank or milliliter tank. I haven't really tested that, to be honest. It doesn't really matter to me because you've got that juice filling system on the inside. It is so easy. Your PET bottles like this one, I'm sure a lot of people use these, but that literally fits so easily in there. It fits perfectly and you just go squish and problem is over. So to me, the milliliter juice problem is not really an issue. I guess if you take this out and about and you know, you don't want to refill the whole time, then you probably want to look for a device that's got more capacity. Okay, so let's move on to another picture. There's just another picture, you know, from its side. I just wanted to show you the side profile, but it pretty much shows you exactly what we saw in the other picture. You know, the only thing different here is what you'll see is the Phillips head screws that it's got in. It comes with an extra set of screws. It comes with an extra glass. So those things are so beefy and so big. Look how big those post holes are. I don't think, I'm not sure what that is. I think that's 3.5 millimeter. But you know, if you look on Instagram and if you look on Facebook, if you look on Google, you'll see what builds the people are actually fitting in here. Now, for a device to be able to hold a build like that, it has to be enormous, you know, because that is some heavy wire that you have in there, and that doesn't easily fit into a device. But as you can see, the Merlin RDTA supports that quite easily. So, would I recommend this device? Absolutely. I mean, I'm not even gonna go and rant on about it for much longer. The filling port system over here, that's how it needs to be done. You know, it needs to be a plug in the middle there, and when you put it back on, it actually plugs that full port up. And then of course, the plug itself, they say works as a kind of spit back. I don't get any spit back. When it comes to airflow on this, it is not quiet. It wasn't designed to be quiet, but it's not whistly, you know, so it's just your normal airflow. So I'll give you an indication of what that really sounds like. There's a little bit of turbulence there, but nothing bad. It's not a whistle, you know what I'm saying? But the beauty, the craftsmanship, the flavor, the airflow, the drip tip, I know it is proprietary, but you know, that is one of the most comfortable drip tips I've ever used in my entire life. You know, I'm not going to gush on about this. I have it on my old workhorse cuboid over here, just because I have no other mod. Everything is being used at this point in time. But I'm going to be looking for a nice mod that I can fit the Merlin onto, because this device is definitely going to stand my rotation, It works perfectly. It looks beautiful. It's definitely staying at home. I'm not taking it out with me. And the flavor is on point. The bull deck is enormous, okay? I wouldn't recommend this for a new builder. I would recommend this for a seasoned builder, somebody that is looking to, you know, build on bigger decks and perhaps, you know, photograph that, put that on Instagram, put that on Facebook, you know, and share that. That is who this device is for, because it's just absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm going to move on now to the juice review. This is, of course, a juice review of a local South African juice. So yeah, let's move on. Okay guys, let's move on to the local juice review. And you know, I'm really excited about this juice review because it's just been a good juice week for me, man. I know sometimes you have bad juice weeks, and this week was just a good juice week for me. Everybody knows Paulie's, everybody knows Orion, and if you've been paying attention, you would have noticed that they've now released their new juice line, which is a collaboration between Orion, Paulie's, and All Coiled Out, and they've called that Affiliation. So let me just show you what that looks like. Okay, there you get an idea, and also on the back there you'll see Paulie's, Orion, and All Coiled Out. I'm not sure if you're getting a good pick of that, but anyway, so I contacted Paulie to give me an idea of what made them do this collaboration. And I mean, we all know that they share laboratory space or lab space, right? And because they do that, they probably just thought, well, why don't we just make a collab juice? I love that. I love that two companies who are technically competing against each other in the South African market can make a decision together and say, let's just make something together, let's just take it to market and let everybody enjoy that. Okay, but anyway, I bought this, by the way, with my own cash to review this, because I think it's important. You know, if there's some shitty juice, if there's juice that I'm not really into, I'm going to talk about it. But let's talk about this first. So cocoa. You know, I was thinking when I thought cocoa first, I thought maybe coconut, right? And you know, when I opened this up and I had a bit of a smell, you know, what I got was something else. It wasn't coconut, but more cocoa as in, you know, like warm cocoa, like chocolate milk cocoa, you know, for the winter. And, you know, if I think about it, it's almost the perfect time for this juice now. This is not like a milky chocolate or dairy milk chocolate milk, you know. It's more like, how can I say, like a Nescafe instant cocoa that you make with, you know, some cream in the back there. It really is good. What I like about it is because it isn't so creamy. Normally if it's really creamy, the recipe is a little bit heavier, and with chocolate in that recipe, then what then happens is the whole recipe and the whole juice becomes a little bit overbearing. It becomes something that you cannot vape, you know, an entire day. And this cocoa is like a light chocolate cocoa, so it's extremely pleasant. I really like that. It's not my all-day vape, absolutely not. I'm not a big chocolate vape fan, but for the chocolate vape fan guys out there, this is something that you need to check out. Okay, let's talk about this one. I haven't had a lot of this one. It's called Rusky. Now, I had no idea what to expect from this. I mean, you know, the only dots that I could connect was rusks, like literally the ones that you dunk into coffee. And to my surprise, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It reminds me of your Omar's rusks, okay? That's kind of it. It wasn't my favorite profile, but you know, I think you can pair this up nicely with a coffee in the morning, or you know, with hot chocolate. But yeah, you can definitely check this out. This was not my favorite of the juice line, but it definitely wasn't bad. It was good. It's still good juice, right? And then let's talk about this one. I mean, I finished, this is called ricey, okay? So on point for me, what I get from this is rice pudding, okay? And I didn't really like rice pudding as a kid, but you know, it's because it wasn't made like this, and it's because it didn't taste like this. You know, this is like the perfect harmony of a little bit of rice, a little bit of sweetness, you know, some creaminess in the back there to just, you know, to just widen that profile, make it a little bit heavier and balance that recipe out. It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm definitely getting myself another bottle of this. It's not going to be a novelty vape for me. It's going to be, you know, I'm going to put it into a device that I love, and I'm going to sit and vape the shit out of this in front of the TV. This juice needs to be entered into some fucking competition locally, because for me, I thought that this was absolutely insanely wonderful. I really want to give thumbs up to the guys, to Paulie and to Mike. I'm not sure, you know, who thought of this, or, you know, who collaborated this, or what happened here, but this is an absolute success, okay? So anybody out there looking for a cool juice, it's not sweet, it's lovely. So just go and get this ricey, okay? Then crumble. Okay, so now we've had a lot of people, we've had a lot of people try and do this. So crumble, like an apple crumble or like a peach crumble, you know. So what you have is you've got a little bit of a fruit note, and then you've got that crumble note, that crusty crumble note on it. And that's really exactly what that is, you know, with some cinnamon. That's what I'm getting, a little bit of cinnamon in there. And that's exactly what this is. The thing that makes this different is that it's a perfectly balanced recipe. I can absolutely appreciate that the guys have spent time here to make sure that this is not too sweet, that, you know, that cinnamon note is not too heavy or overbearing, and it's just right, because you just get that lovely crumble in the back. It's a beautiful juice. It wasn't my favorite. My favorite was obviously the ricey, but I'm definitely gonna finish this. This is definitely one that I currently have this in the Merlin RDTA, so, you know, it will be finished in the next 2 days or so. And then, you know, my other favorite here was peachy. So I've always been a fan of a peachy juice. The problem with peach though, and that I've experienced when I do DIY, is they can be a little bit sharp. So you have to do quite a bit to that recipe to make sure that that peach is juicy, all right? And because the peach note at the top, you know, if you don't do it right, if you don't balance that recipe right, what you get is you get quite a thin juice, if that makes any sense. You don't get a complete, you know, experience, like a complete juicy experience that a peach would give you. But what they've done here is absolutely lovely. It's a beautiful peach. It's not sweet, okay? It's just a touch sweet. And then there's definitely some creams. I'm tasting some creams in the back, and I'm sure that's just to make that recipe just slightly heavier, to give you a fuller, juicier experience of a peach. But like, as you can see, I mean, I'm done with that. There's literally nothing left there for me to complete. So yeah, all in all, I think Affiliation, this juice line is a go for me. You know, what I really like about stuff like this is it's South African and it's great. I mean, and you know, my favorites over here is definitely going to be ricey, then it's going to be peachy, and I'm also going to say cocoa, just because of the risk there. I mean, you know, chocolate, a chocolate vape is extremely difficult to do, and to do it so light like this, you know, it's a bit of a risk. But for me, that was a beautifully balanced recipe, and it's something that I could vape, you know, every now and then. So yeah, that really completes it for Affiliation. Thumbs up, guys. This is excellent juice, and whoever was interested to buy these juices, please go and get them. They're not that expensive. I think they're reasonably priced. So yeah, go and get them. And just, yeah, remember, ricey. Just try that. try that thing. It really is good. Okay guys, cheers. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, I've got a couple of things inbound. There's a little bit of research I want to do on a device that's inbound. I want to wick it, I want to vape it, and I want to experience it for a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, and then I'll come back and report what my finding is. But thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you liked it, and then of course share that and with your friends so they can also pick up some pointers from my experience. Okay guys, thank you very much, and that is it for episode 2. Cheers.